Alright, well today we're going to talk about the Garmin 696 GPS. It can do a lot of functions, it covers a lot of things. I'm only going to talk about the basic functions today, the basic operations of how to use it. Obviously, if you want to know more information about it, consult the manual. There are also DVDs on how to use it that go into a little bit more depth about it. First of all, I'm going to turn on my avionics master here, and it's going to power up the GPS here. Alright, so first of all we have a page talking about the databases that we have here. Now, we need a current database if we're flying for IFR. For VFR, we do not need a current database. So if you look here, some of these databases aren't current. That's okay. If you're flying and say you're navigating to an airport, you should always have a current chart and a current AFD. But for purposes of just basic VFR flying, it's fine to have an expired database. It's going to talk about the aviation database here. The chart database, safe taxi, and we'll look at that in a sec, the obstacle database, and here are the expiration dates that they have there. You have terrain down here, and then you have the directory data. Okay, so we're going to push enter. We're just going to look at those databases here. And here we go, it pops up to our screen here. Here's us at Gillespie Field, right here where we're at the base of the tower. This obviously shows your taxiway diagram right here. This function is called safe taxi, and actually as we're taxiing, this plane is gonna move and it's gonna show the taxiways, which is pretty neat. So let's say you're copying a complicated taxi instruction, it's very easy to use here. Okay, a couple things about this here. You can go to the main map here. I click this soft key right here. It's a software enabled key, and I have a VFR map, which is for this kind of flying. This is what we're gonna want here. Right now, since we're on the ground, it's zoomed in here to the airport. We can zoom in and out using this knob right here, actually these buttons up here, and we can control our range here. So right now I'm clicking on the bottom button, and here it's zooming in. You can see that if you actually want to zoom in and look at a even closer to a taxiway, a sign or something, you can look at that. You can see these little red zones here. This is something the FAA designed called aviation hotspots, or airport hotspots, where collisions are likely to occur. So just keep those in mind. That's what those mean. So we're going to zoom out here for a little bit, past the airport. This is how we zoom out. And actually, it's funny, this 696, it's been recording our flight track of previous flights. So you can see little blue or black and white lines here showing previous tracks of other flights. So let's zoom up here. So let's get this set up. Typically, when I'm flying, I like to have it zoomed out here typically about 30 miles. It depends on what you want. Down here we're going to have the range right here on the 3 nautical mile. Also, one thing I want to point out is it's definitely a habit for a lot of people when they're looking at glass is to touch the screen when you're pointing something out. And I want to say, try not to touch the screen. It leaves fingerprints on there, and if you do, just get a nice cloth, clean that off. And if you have any questions, just ask one of us, and we'll help you clean that off. Anyway, so we're zoomed out here. I like to keep it for me about 3 nautical miles. That's fine. Let's talk about all this information that's on the screen here. Obviously, depending on how zoomed in or out you have it, you may want certain information on here. Here with the clear button, I'm going to set up the map the way I want it. I'm going to hit clear, and it's going to declutter this for me. So you keep hitting clear until you get what you want. Here, there's no airspace on there anymore. Let's say for some reason you don't want airspace on there, you could hit clear. Gets rid of it. Now I got rid of all the freeways here. You hit it again. Now it's back to normal. Like I said, this automatically goes when we're on the ground. It goes to the safe taxi function. Okay, so here with the main map, I already showed you how to declutter it. One thing I want to point out here is the obstructions that you see out here. These red obstructions. Garmin actually programmed a feature in their GPS is saying, if you see an obstacle that's red, that means you're within 100 feet of that obstacle, which is good to know if you're flying a course and you see something red. That means you better climb or turn around. Now, if it turns yellow, that means you're within 1,000 feet of that obstacle. Alright, so here we talked about the map page. We're on the VFR map page. I'm going to hit terrain here. Let's say we want to fly with our moving map and we want terrain. This talks a little bit about how far we are from terrain. Now you see here, everything on this map is red. Obviously we're on the ground. We're within 100 feet of everything here on the ground, but let's say we climb up, it would eventually turn yellow, and as we climb up even higher, over 1,000 feet of the terrain, it'll turn into a normal moving map. So let's say you're descending into an airport. As you're coming into the traffic pattern, you'll see it turn yellow, and as you're coming into land, you're going to see it turn red. But pretty neat function, pretty useful if you're navigating long distance and you could even zoom out. Let's say we have a GPS course somewhere. You could zoom out and see if there's anything along your route of flight that's going to be within 1,000 feet or within 100 feet of you. Alright, now you can see we have this soft key. We have it pushed in a train. We could click it off and take that train off if we want to. Okay, a nice feature that we have here in 224 Sierra Charlie is we have traffic alerts here through the Mode S transponder here in the 330, and it's linked here with the Garmin 696. So if you get a traffic alert, let's say traffic will pop up anywhere in our vicinity, it'll show us where that traffic's at, how high that traffic is above and below us, and what direction that traffic is moving in. Obviously you want to rely on your eyes to see where the traffic is, but it'll give you a good indication to where that traffic is. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the page layout here. If you look down here at this little panel here, it shows that we're on the map page, and that's what we're showing here. What we could do with this knob here, you can go and click through these different pages. So right now we have the map page. We'll scroll over one to the right. You can see down here we're on the waypoint page. So here it talks a little bit about Gillespie Field. It gives you all the frequencies, gives you the runway length, the service type. And within this page, you have the info here. You could have a chart. You could actually have your airport diagram here. Let that load up. Pretty neat. You could have your AOPA. You could have just information here. Pretty much the AFD is what it gives you. It gives you all the information on all the lights. That obviously with your AFD, your physical AFD, you want to make sure that this is all current. And then if we were subscribed to the weather, we would have the weather there also. And then back to the info page here. Alright, if we scroll over another one here, weather, which we don't have subscribed to here, but this will give you weather information. This is another feature about terrain. Obviously we talked about terrain before, how it shows it on the map page. This is a little bit more in depth here. So here it shows you your flight here, and it'll show you whatever you're within 100 feet of and whatever you're within 1,000 feet of. Down here in the bottom part of the page, this shows the terrain here in our vicinity from 0 to 10 miles. So it looks like within 0 to 10 miles, looks like we have an obstruction that comes just below 2,000 feet. You have the altitude right here. So if you see you're flying at 4,000 feet up here, you're going to be flying with terrain. Very nice feature that you have in here. Okay, scroll over to the next page, and here you have your XM radio. What you could do here is you have all these channels. If you click the cursor knob in, like I just did, click it in, and you'll be able to go down and scroll through all these channels that you have here, and you can pick your favorite channel. You can scroll through that there. Okay, down here you have your volume. Let's go ahead and click out of that. You have your volume down here. You can mute, so there's your volume. I hit the volume button there, and with this knob you can go ahead and increase or decrease the volume depending on what you want it. You also have stops keys here that could do the same function. Let's say you want to mute it for a little bit, just hit mute, and that'll mute the music for you, and then back, and it'll get out of there. If you go within here, and again you could do more reading on the manual, but you could set a favorite channel. You could do categories of different genres of music that you want. Quite a bit of stuff there. Okay, so let's say you want to go back to the main page here. Actually, first let's go on to the info page here. This is the last page that we have here. This talks to you a little bit about timing here, time to the next waypoint, distance to the waypoint, the battery that it has within it. Obviously, when the engine's running, you're not using that battery. And then it tells you a little more information here about your lat and long coordinates. Or let's say you wanted to go back to the main page. Instead of scrolling through all these back to the main page, you could hold down on the clear button. You could hold this down for a few seconds, and it'll go right back down to the main page. So this is your key. Let's say you don't know, you're lost, you don't know where you're at, you're somewhere in the pages of the GPS. You go ahead and hit the clear button, and that'll bring you right back to this page. So just remember, hold clear down from any page, whatever you're at, just hold clear down, and it'll get you back to that page.